What kind of podcast is this?
Bad Playstyle is a book club podcast.
For video games.
What am I supposed to say again? Welcome to Season 3 of Bad Playstyle. This is our infinite spoiler warning. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear that Metroid is a girl. Or that Zelda's a boy. There, how's that?
Yeah. We swears a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like that,
You say bad words.
you could send corrections to...
Badplaystyle@gmail.com.
And it's the Bad Playstyle, boys.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yeah. So, a couple of days ago, on September the 12th, I went to Chutkin's Park, and I beat up everybody who didn't like the last podcast.
Oh, no.
My name's Matt.
I'm usually eats chapstick,
And
also known as Owen.
And today, we have to temporarily, okay, so you are allowed, say your name.
I'm Keenan.
No.
Oh.
You have to say it every time.
I thought it was over.
You have to say it every time.
So
I
I'm
got it right once.
I'm not yet a shame boy, or not a shame boy, not yet a shame man.
Holy shit! Okay,
Keenan, yeah.
so as per
But that's changing.
as per the lease agreement on your name, how this works is okay. Keenan got 2 consecutive chicken hat, or they were locked and loaded in the chamber behind each other, right? And so Owen and I got together, and we thought about it.
Like, what are we going to do about this?
What are we going to do about this? And so how it works, listeners, is that if you get a chicken hat, you forever, for the rest of podcasts, have to say that name and all concurrent names at the enunciation, which is now.
Much like a Game of Thrones king.
Right, so you have to
Or
say
like, like our normal ass king.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So you have to
Like
say,
King of Leon, King of Castile, King of this and that.
and then
fucking
Duke
Spain.
and Duke of the Orleans,
Yeah.
or whatever. So you have to say the whole thing, but once 3 months passes since you were gifted that title, you may remove it from as many
From
pieces
your online
the online presence, right? And you don't have to refer to yourself as that.
Wait, have I been holding on to it longer than I needed to?
No,
2 days longer than you
2
did.
days longer.
So I
Okay.
put it.
I looked at it. and I was like, I think I can take this off, but I didn't.
I put it on my Google Calendar, and like 2 days ago, it like popped up, and I was like, whatever, we'll just wait till.
Yeah, no, it's not a big deal.
The recording schedule's been a bit off. It's okay. So I'm Matt. This is usually Eats Chapstick, and this is Not Yet a Shame Man, Not a Shame Boy.
Although probably
So-
by the time you hear this, I'll have my old screen name back.
Yeah, probably.
Well, no,
Yours is the 25th.
I
So
looked at my calendar.
yeah. So
What's the new one?
So
What are we doing?
But here's the thing: is he had 2, and Owen and I talked, and we were like, "What do we need to do about that?" And oh man, fucking best friend of the show, Steven, came up with the greatest idea ever, which is we get to change Keenan's, or sorry, Shame Boy's, because I can still call him
Steam
that.
avatar.
We get to change his Steam avatar,
Which hasn't changed for literally like 5 years.
right now
I know.
it's a jerky picture of King Namor from DC Comics.
Yeah, it's a fucking. It's that guy who draws everyone's faces with like sharp angles.
Yeah, like you. What? There was a quote from way back in like when we were writing short stories in high school. You were like a face you could grate cheese on.
Ooh.
I always really liked that.
Yeah.
That was the thing you came up with, Owen.
Oh,
So
damn.
yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that.
no, that was a real good one. That
High
was like
school
some-
Owen spitting
that
that
was
fire.
Dude, that Namor picture's got a face you could cut cheese.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could make some cheese slices with it.
Yep.
Anyway, so we got a new name for him. What's the new name, Owen?
It is XXSGW Snowflake in parentheses argumentative XX.
Okay, so you've fuck. Why did we make it this?
So that people call him this in Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay, and also Death by Daylight or Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So that like there's a horrible monster man throwing hatchets at them, whose name is SJW Snowflake.
Yeah.
Parentheses argumentative.
So the Steam avatar we picked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You need to tell them about the
This is
avatar.
something I came up with. It is a cropped photo of an alien woman from
That's not what it is.
Star Trek: The Next Generation. I think it's season 6. I might be wrong. It's the episode called The Game. It's the episode that is about people in the Enterprise playing too many video games to do their job, which is like actually
Yo, this is
appropriate.
choice.
Actually kind of amazing.
I need a job.
Yeah, get Shane Boy a job.
Okay. So Here's the other thing is, listeners, if you go and you look at our website, for the first time ever, I will be changing the fucking Shutterstock, like the album artwork for the podcast to his new avatar, so you'll be able to preview it. But we called it a thing.
So it's an alien woman whose forehead looks like a butt. Dude,
let him go. Let him get there.
Right?
Let him get there.
So it looks like a human butt, which is like really convenient to have it on your face. And then like peeking out between the butt cheeks on her forehead is like a little itty bitty vagina.
So
like shout out to my good boy Michael Blessmore for making creative and new alien makeup on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Also like, what the fuck, dude?
I'm sorry for stomping all over you in that thing, but I was just really excited because there's a shampoo name for this thing that we used earlier when we were discussing it, and that the Greatest Generation podcast used when they were discussing it, and I'd really, really like you to say it.
Was it the vagina butt?
Vagina butt loaf.
Vagina butt loaf.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've heard all the shit on your face in Star Trek for an alien. It's all meatloaf.
Yeah.
So it's butt loaf.
Okay.
Okay.
I just really wanted
Vagina butt loaf
to put that out there.
Cool.
In the podcast.
Not my actual name though.
You're trying to snipe the episode title, aren't you?
I'm not. I'm not.
I move that this episode title goes up to a vote.
I did not on purpose make you say it so that you'd have more ownership of it when I proposed it as the episode title. I did not do that.
If this were the Greatest Generation, you'd hear a bellhop bells ding right when I said it.
Okay, moving on.
No, because you have to say it now.
I have to say that I am XXSJW Snowflake parentheses argumentative XX.
That is correct.
Woo! I didn't even look at it.
You do need to. This is so much better than the last one.
Yeah.
5s. Yes. All right.
I might be able to hold on to that one.
Great. So, Owen, what's 3 months from now?
What's 3 months from now?
Yeah.
It's September, so that's what, January?
Okay.
December?
January the 14th?
So we have all of October, all of November. Oh, you're right, it's December.
Yeah, like
December 14th?
Yeah, mid-December.
Okay. So he must wear this title on his various social medias of his choosing, and definitely Steam, until December the 14th.
Hell yeah. Happy Hanukkah. Is Hanukkah on the 14th? I don't fucking know.
It's better.
It moves, because it's not on the Christian calendar.
Hanukkah's so tricky.
All right.
It's not like Christmas.
No, we're done.
Yeah, we're done talking about this. We're done talking.
Predictable.
I don't want to explain the joke that I thought of. So let's go on.
Let's continue.
All right. Owen.
What's good?
Now that we've finished just sliding Keenan's butt up and down the rails, sorry, one more thing. What game did we play?
We played Metro 2033 Redux.
Okay, we have a lot of feelings about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be
moving
good one.
forward.
It's a strong episode.
You did a stupid thing related to Star Trek. Wow, a lot of Star Trek this episode.
Yeah, hey.
And you need to talk about it.
Did you know I like Star Trek, friends?
Nah, we do now. We didn't.
So I've talked before about playing my Star Trek phone game.
Yeah, Timelines. It's dope. You should play it.
Star Trek Timeline's playing your phone. It's not dope, and you shouldn't play it unless you really, really like Star Trek and need a phone game.
That's totally true.
I don't recommend it. But I enjoy it immensely. Actually, I have a Timelines thing after this.
Sure.
Get ready for your Timelines minute. Anyway, I spent $20 on microtransactions, and I don't think I regretted it, but I also don't think I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
Like it's like
a best case scenario.
No. The best case scenario is like I want to do it again because it felt really good and I enjoyed it.
No. No.
Anyway, yeah, I just spent microtransactions on a fucking phone game because I'm a fucking moron.
Okay.
My Timelines minute. So they put in a character last week that makes no fucking sense. Is this the time to do this?
No, like,
go for
let it out, bro, you're here.
An event character, so it's Oda from Deep Space Nine, and he's wearing a U.S. Army chaplain's uniform from, like, the 40s.
Okay.
This is
like priest regalia with jacket.
So, no, it's army jacket, black collar, and a cross hanging around his neck. And, like, that's it. And my girlfriend and I, we both play this game, and we're like, what is this? This does not appear...
not a thing from a thing.
Yeah, like, it's not in the show. It's not even alluded to in the show. Like, why is this in the game?
Yeah.
And, like, her and I have been, like, spitballing theories at each other about, like, why this is, like some, like, headcanon bullshit. Like, well, one time Odo was said to be on the holodeck in a World War II program, So maybe that's just like their interpretation of what it is. No, I found out why it is. The actor who plays him, Rene Auberjonois, he's French.
Auberjonois?
Yeah, Rene Auberjonois. Rene
Yeah, Peggy Hill, that shit.
He was in the movie MASH. And
shit!
He was the chaplain.
So I made that joke when you first talked about this, that it's Mash Odo.
Wait, for real?
Yeah!
So he's in that movie, and he's the chaplain. So in
Oh,
Star Trek
man.
Time, so it's like that. It's like that Iggy Pop thing. It's like this weird deep cut.
But like because the game is about Divergent Time. No!
No, it's actually like brilliant.
I want now we need House of Paris. Avery Brooks.
Oh.
It needs to happen. The big hit needs to be in Star Trek
We
Timeline.
can't talk about the big hit in this podcast.
I don't think...
It's like a 1% subset of a 1% subset.
As the only person whose mind is not addled with some sort of fucking fungus that makes them love that movie irreverently or, like, illogically, I gotta say, no part of the big hit needs to be in literally anything else.
That's not true.
It's a standalone thing.
super wrong.
It's a standalone movie that is fine.
It's a standalone movie that rules.
It's fine. You can go watch it if you want to have a really good time watching Lou Philip Diamond's try and kill Marky Mark.
Oh, and it's Lou Philip Diamonds in Star Trek.
With almost karambits.
Almost reverse karambits.
What the fuck is that?
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on.
This is the Timeline's minute.
Owen, what have you been playing lately?
I played a shitload of Factorio for some fucking reason.
I think because that game's really addictive.
Yeah, you like it.
Like also, like I had like one evening where I just wanted to like play, like I wanted to unwind and just talk on Discord with one of my friends.
Sure.
And I was just like, yeah, boot this game up. I had this experience. So like I started a new factory and I'm like doing my factory thing. And I run into like a design problem where like I'm not sure what I want to do, and I was like, what did I do in previous saves? Save my game, load an old save. And I have the fully sprawling factory that takes over 10 square kilometers or whatever. My reaction is not, ooh, I'm an observer. Looking at my previous design.
Oh no!
Like I start looking around and like oh yes, I'm doing research for my other save
When
game.
you start doing things.
Yeah.
I start finding little fiddly tweaks.
Start tinkering. Yep.
Little tinkers. I was like, oh weird, this supply line's like blocked in a weird way and it's causing this backup. If I do this little tiny change, it'll fix. And like, I spent half
Next
an hour
thing you know, you're playing
a save game from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're like a dude in the office. Like, oh, I'll just check my fantasy football line now. Half an hour later, no, but I gotta change the running back. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Tinkering. It's like
so I spent half an
Yeah,
hour in a
like-
2-year-old save game, and then like what's the worst part is like
you just load
when
it
I
out
was
of it.
when
right?
I was done. No, I saved it.
That's worse.
No, it's super worse.
So much worse.
And
Like
then-
you knew what you were doing was wrong,
Yeah.
and you still did it.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the intentionality of I'll be back.
It's like this mindset of like I won't be back, but in case I am,
Yo, I'm gonna leave it better than I found it.
yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
It's like campsite. It's
Yep.
just like,
Yep.
but if I ever break my own internal rule, I want to be in the best place possible.
Yeah, your ego's like, oh no, you're not gonna come back. And the super ego's like, yeah, you fucking will.
you fucking shit.
And your subconscious is already running it in your sleep.
Yeah, and it's like, let's come back tomorrow.
Yeah. So I've been playing that. I've been playing Metro. I played I've been kind of on a low swing on PUBG for a while.
Mhm.
I played a fucking shitload of PUBG this
We
week.
jammed a shitload of that game in this week.
They did a ton of good updates.
Yeah, it's got some quality of life shit.
Yeah.
And that new gun.
Yeah. Shout out to the mutant, my boy, the mutant,
Mark 47, mutant and proud.
the astonishing mutant rifle. I mean, that's all I'm gonna say about PUBG.
Okay.
PUBG's still an amazing game.
Alright.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I played a bunch of random bullshit on my PC, on my living room PC the other day. I had a friend over, and like at one point, like it's like me and my girlfriend and him were just like hanging out shooting the shit. And we had the computer on, and games were open, but no one really wanted to like compete and play games. So I just booted up the game everything
Oh, and just started fucking around.
and started like cruising around. Like what if I was a bunch of goats?
Yeah.
What if I was a rock? What if I was a paramecium? What if I'm a galaxy?
There needs to be more games like that.
Yeah, that game is super cool. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. Timelines, PUBG, Metro, and everything.
Sure.
Did you play everything?
Matt the Titleist. What have you played?
Oh, fuck off. No, I played Metro. Goddamn.
We played some Warframe this week.
I did. Yeah, I played some Warframe.
Yo, Warframe's coming out on Switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. So
it's actually a good.
yeah,
That's good.
Like, so I played Warframe on controller, and I expected to fucking hate it.
Mhm.
I was like, "This is gonna be awful." I'm gonna see what it's like, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of nice."
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
the Switch feels like a good spot for that game.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And so yeah, like when Bree, your girlfriend, was like, "My Warframe makes my wrist hurt," I was like, "Just play with the fucking controller. Yeah, it'll be great.
Like, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine." Yeah. Was it? I've been experimenting with Warframes I don't normally play, and the bird frame, which I previously hated.
This
Is
is
absolutely Zephyr. Yeah, I absolutely hated Zephyr. I was like, why? Why would I ever do that? When they did the open world map, I didn't really think about like Zephyr could basically fly, right?
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
she can't fly, but she falls at half speed because she's made out of like a lighter than air metal, or like mostly made out of lighter than air metal, whatever.
Cool.
The Warframe has hollow bones. It's
Yeah,
cool.
that's fine. And her first power, her cheapest power, which does it, she flies forward like 200 feet and like just fucking knocks over everything in the way.
Hell yeah.
But if you do that like 300 feet in the air, you're just flying, right? Like,
Yeah.
so because
Just zipping around.
This is like how in Arkham, like, Batman can't fly, but, like,
he can fly.
come on, like,
Yeah,
he can fly.
motherfucker, he can fly.
Yeah.
So
Like, he can fall with style, really.
So I've been
really
doing
Well,
that.
if you do it right, you literally never lose altitude.
So like you fly around everywhere, you land on the objective, fucking tornadoes everywhere because that's your ultimate,
Okay.
and then you put a tornado around you so bullets can't hit you, and then you get in the air and shoot everybody. It's great. So it's been way fun.
So you're Storm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super great.
That's cool.
Um,
I'm into it.
And then I played a little bit more Fallout 4 VR, and I realized that that like before, what I was doing, I was like leaning through doors and interacting with stuff on the other side. I realized that the point at which your like movement stems from is a direct cylinder underneath where your head is. So if you smash your face through a wall and just start walking, you're on the other side of the wall now.
Oh man.
Right? So
like,
That's weird.
Like, hey, y'all listeners, if you were all thinking to yourself, like, hey, Fallout 4 is not broken enough.
yeah,
Play it in
so,
VR.
Play it in VR.
Yeah.
So all those closets where it's like, oh, there's a bunch of loot behind this closet, but your lockpicking skill's not high enough. I'm like,
What if instead of the
You just Jack Nicholson headbutt your
Yeah.
way through the
what
door.
if instead of using console commands, you just used motion control?
yeah. I was just so it's like, here's Looty. Yeah, just
Give me your
fuck my way.
stuff.
Give me all your
Give me your
Yeah.
stuff. I'm leaving.
And then what else? Oh, I'm constantly dropping grenades at my own feet in like town, because the grenade, like the interact key, is also the grenade key if you hold it.
Okay.
Oh, and I bet its timing is real close, isn't it?
Well, it's pretty close if you're like jamming on it,
You know
right?
something I've realized recently? I think I've completely fallen off button press grenades in games, period.
Yeah.
Like, so our last episode, for those of you who didn't listen to it, we played Wolfenstein, which has grenades that I just flat out did not use
Right,
for
because you have to
shit.
reach over and hit G to throw your
Yeah,
grenade.
well, but like, even if I rebind it, like, I just like, that game, the way I played it, like, whatever.
I use grenades all the time in that game.
Dude, like, really?
Yeah.
They're really good in that game.
I'm
Grenades
sure,
have a great feel in that game.
but like, who cares? Like,
You don't need them.
Yeah,
You don't need them.
And like, not to jump ahead, I also didn't fucking use them for shit in this game
Yeah.
too.
Whereas, like in PUBG, you have to pull your grenade out.
Grenades are
And
so
then
clutch in PUBG though.
Then you have full interaction. You click and you pull the pin out, and then you can hit the reload button while you're holding it to pop the fucking spoon, and then you have a live grenade in your hand, and you can do really dumb shit.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for like having to go into the mode of it's grenade.
Yeah.
Rather than it's a grenade.
Yeah,
And,
the design decision of interacting with the grenade as a
Right.
player versus
Like-
I'm gonna throw it and all that's gonna happen for me.
Yeah,
is-
like not having a weapon in your hands.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many times I've been caught out. Like, not to make this the PUBG cast.
Mhm.
Like I don't know how many times in PUBG I've been caught out. Like it's like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna grenade this fucking dork.
Yeah.
And then I just get gunned down with my hands out in the air in the grenade pose.
So I found out that you can't run while holding the grenade like you're gonna throw it, which is really disappointing because there's situations like I ran into the other day where I know there's 3 dudes in that room and all I have is a grenade. you can't run in the room. You have to walk in the room with the spoon off of it.
Because theoretically you're preparing to
Yeah,
throw.
which is dumb.
Whereas like
I should be able to fucking rip it,
you the
clutch it, and
players
go.
You the player's head is like you are the suicide bomber.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna run in here with a hand grenade.
If you hold down every single button on your mouse, your guy should just clutch it to his chest.
Yeah, there should definitely be a 2-button press where it's just like, no, this is grenade time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or hold it above your head.
God, no, but jump on your grenade. Jump on the incoming grenade would be an awesome command in that game. Anyway, Matt, are you done with your games?
I'm sorry, like we just derailed your shit, but like he didn't. That's actually really good.
We're so legit.
Yeah, you should be able to like soak a grenade for your buds.
For real.
If you press over 4 keys, you automatically hug.
Yeah, you get on it.
Oh, that's so good.
Or like one where you.
I want to do that with a smoke grenade.
Where your guy takes out a thing of duct tape if you don't have a helmet on and just duct tapes the grenade to his head.
Okay.
I'm done.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the giant grenade cast.
I have played a lot of games recently because I hit the
Kian,
wall.
what have you been playing recently?
I hit the wall on jobs to apply to.
Oh, sorry. One more thing. I killed everybody in the Hammerpan Hotel.
Hell yeah.
There are, I think, 576 people in the
Sick.
Hammerpan Hotel.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
How many bullets are there in the Himmapan Hotel?
Oh, there's so many. So there was
way more than when he started.
So what I do when I do this, it's a thing I get an urge to do every so often, which is just empty a level of people.
Sure.
And I've done
In
it.
Hitman, for the record.
I've done it to Paris, and I've done it to.
Oh, Paris is a good one.
I've done it to the Himmapan Hotel, and I did it to one other level. I don't remember, but.
Sorry, go on.
So one of the things is if you take, there's one of the secondaries you can get, one of the pistols, that uses the same bullets the guards do.
Oh,
so
great.
Every time you pick up a guard, you have full ammo again.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I go like half stealth, like in the way that you would in like easier payday levels, where like your equipment is really like low concealment, but it's like sort of loud, sort of quiet, and I'm just like, we're just going fast enough that the alarms don't go off.
The idea is that like everyone in the hotel knows something is wrong, but no one knows for sure what the fuck is wrong.
Exactly. Right. So like people are finding bodies and they're freaked out, but then they just keep finding more bodies.
Right.
Right. And there's no gun noises really. It's like a dude walking around in a security officer's uniform with scissors, making sure there's lots of bodies.
Yeah.
Right? And like, oh, there's no one looking at you.
This room is
Stabbed,
secure now because everyone in it's dead.
Right? And then you loop back around behind the security and you kill the last guy and then you leave. So yeah, I do that for a while and I basically collect all the guns in the level. Right? And then once the guns are collected in the level, I run around like a maniac.
But there's also like a dramatic tension to that. Like you build, and
then it's so cathartic finally when you're
gun
done.
Time crescendo.
Yeah,
like...
and it's like, and you look around and like, there's no guards. There's no guards. And then you finally pick up a long arm and you're like, yes, it is time!
There's no wrong way to play.
Exactly.
That's how Hitman works.
You just remind me of a thing. Before recording, we talked about like stack rank. What are your most hours played in games? A game I forgot from that list. Hitman Blood Money.
Yep, that's the one.
Is in my top 10. That was one that surprised me. Like I know I played a bunch of that game.
That's the one though.
But like,
with the exception of the most recent one, that's the one.
I've played more Blood Money.
I agree, but
I know that you agree on the empirical fact that I just stated.
Yeah. Okay, so I have played a lot of games. A lot of them are games I have come back to. So Siege put out a new patch, Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah. And they put in a defense operator who has a fucking riot shield, and she's broken as fuck, and it's hilarious, and no one knows how to deal with her.
What's her name?
Clash.
Her name is Clash. She is
Clash?
British.
Okay.
She has either a handgun or a TMP that does only 2-round bursts.
2-round bursts is like actually
it's a thing. It's real good in both games.
You were trying to tell me the mutant you don't use it.
I'm not a fan of it, but
dude, just get comfy with it.
I'll give it some time. The other thing her shield does that's really dumb, and she's the only character that does it, which is why people don't know how to deal with her. But her shield has like a long-range taser on it.
The shield has a taser
shield is a whole.
I mean, like I know Rainbow Six Siege is like this weird fantasy.
Yeah, they really wrote their way into having this thing in the game too.
I feel like Siege in a certain way is like analogous to Payday 2.
Yeah,
we're like Payday 2 it releases like you have a rifle and you have a pistol.
Mhm.
And then you have, like, kind of a cool ability.
Yeah.
And then, like, Payday 2 today is, like, you have a rocket launcher and a minigun
And H3's here.
Yeah. You know.
Yo, I'm trying to lose the fupa, but it's so hard.
Yeah, like the it, like I when
John Wick's here too.
yeah. Fucking John Wick.
One.
My favorite DJs in this game.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't mean like power creep in like a bad way, but like the power creep in the game is astounding.
So
there's holograms in Rainbow Six Siege, right?
Yep.
No, they're not holograms.
No, they are.
No, they are not.
What are they?
Read the thing.
I'll read the thing,
Yeah.
but there's
visual
hologram
representations
representations
No,
of the
they're not.
character.
So there's holograms in Rainbow Six Siege.
Nope.
Anyway, so there's that, and then the next patch, there's a defender with a riot shield, which is traditionally an attacker-only thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a taser on it that does tiny amounts of damage to you up to 12 feet away in front of it,
Okay.
and here's why people fuck it up, it slows you.
Okay. Cool.
Like,
So,
it
like,
hinders
people-
your
people
movement.
see you and they,
slows
like,
are good.
And
try to run away.
slows are not a thing in this game.
Yeah.
Like there is one other character who does a thing that you walk over a trap, there's a needle in you, and it slows and poisons you. There's only 2 slows in the game, and there's fucking 64 operators or something
this
dumb.
is like a poison cannons from Magic.
So it's like, it's this thing that no one knows how to deal with. Like, at all. And so, like, she'll just stand in a doorway and be like, you don't get to come in here, fuck you, and the round ends, because no one can figure out how to work around her. And it's hilarious and
That's good.
stupid.
That's good. That's a good shake-up. More
Yeah.
games need more
No.
shake-ups.
No, the thing they've been doing with the most recent set of operators is like, hey, meta, fuck you.
Well,
And it's
they've
great.
been doing that for 5 patches.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like, it's... The most recent rounds of dudes are really good at that.
Lion was a big deal.
Well, and the other guy that came out with Clash has a blowtorch, and he just puts tiny holes
Oh yeah, tiny
in
silent
things
holes.
that he can kill people
Tiny
through.
little quiet holes.
Shout out to our favorite due process ripoff.
Yeah. So I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing a lot of PUBG. We'll talk about that. I went back to RimWorld. That's like my relaxed game right now.
Playing that.
So I've been playing that. That game's still like real good at fucking your shit up.
How's life on the rim?
I think I'm on my 4th base now
Ooh.
since coming back. I had one that I was doing real good, and then we got a solar eclipse, and then the solar eclipse killed all our power, and then when the eclipse was over, we got a gas cloud for fucking ever. Like, literally, we couldn't grow food anymore, and all my people choked to death. They've implemented a thing in the newest patch where if all your people go down, a man in black shows up and tries to help. So, like, an extra dude just joins your base and tries to fix
it's
it.
a mysterious stranger.
Yeah. And then, like, even he choked to death and died in that game. Because there was no way, like, the way my base was built, it was all outside.
Can I talk about the mysterious stranger for a second?
Yes.
For no reason. The mysterious stranger in, like, the old Fallout games was, like, actually a person.
Yeah.
That,
It's
like,
actually a character.
when you get into a random encounter between cities, the mysterious stranger shows up and he fights and he
Mhm.
wears a leather jacket and a hunting rifle.
Mhm.
And if the mysterious stranger dies, he will never come back
Yep.
because the
Because
perk
he's an actual person.
the perk you bought when you leveled up was like a dude. And if you killed him for his rifle or if he died in combat, like he's gone forever. And then like
And that perk is burned.
it's just dead weight in your character sheet. But like in the later Fallout games, like no, the mysterious stranger is a magical force
Yeah.
that emanates from the core of the sun. Yeah, and makes no sense when he appears like a fucking genie.
When his gun does 5,000 damage.
Yeah.
Because you can console yourself that gun, it one hits anything.
And
Yeah.
then the new game I have played this week, I jumped into Dead by Daylight because it's weird and cool, and I like it. But what I don't like about it is I want to play the killer because I want to murder 4 teenagers because that's what that game's about on one side of it. But it takes forever to get a lobby full of people when you play as the killer.
Sure.
Like 5 minutes or more every time. And like I go play as a survivor, boom, I'm in a game, it's done.
Sure.
And so like, yeah, that's frustrating.
Then there used to be like just a hopper system. It was like, hey,
Yeah.
you haven't been the killer in 10 games. Like, hey, guess who gets to be the killer?
Right,
You
right.
know,
Like, I like that I can queue as separate. Like, I can queue as killer or survivor, and that's great. Like, good design decision. But there's something missing in the way it feeds survivors to you as a killer.
Sure.
I don't think there's enough survivors.
That's probably the problem.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty good at playing survivor because I'm like, I just want to fucking play this game. Like,
Yeah. I think you shouldn't get to queue as one or the other. I think it should just be a behind under the hood weighted system. It's like you haven't been the killer in 10 games. Like, get to be the killer.
It's hard because there are people who are killer mains and there are people who are survivor. Like there's a meta to it that that's
okay. So so we incorporate a checkbox. If you have the killer box unchecked, you never get to be the killer, and that's fine.
Right.
If you have the killer checked, it'll get you to be the killer as soon as you get to be in the queue.
Right. Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe that's actually what's implemented, and this is
right.
What Keenan's experiencing is just the fruit of that, because everyone wants to be the fucking killer.
I think it has a lot to do with your rank on either side too. There's tons of low ranked survivors, and I think what happens is I think it prioritizes. Bless you. I think it prioritizes higher ranked killers.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, you know what you're doing. Let's. But I think it does that with both sides, right? I think rank 1 killers are playing rank 1 survivors.
Oh, okay.
But I think there's fewer. I think there's fewer people who want to play survivor at the lower level because the initial thing with that game is killers are fun.
I thought you meant the cream of the crop killers are the ones that always get
all the newbies.
And it's just damn, that's
savage
as hell.
And so part of it, I think, is because I'm sort of at the bottom of the totem pole. Mm-hmm. It's less. But I like that game a lot. It has weird mechanics, and they've started doing licensing deals like Payday. So there's actual horror movie killers in it. Freddy is in it. Michael Myers is in it. Leatherface is in it. There's a rumor that they're going to bring in the Scream guy. The Scream guy game mechanic that everyone's proposed sounds really cool. Basically, they want him to imitate other survivors and lure them into traps that he then does.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a dope game mechanic if that comes out.
Just if the killer was the spy from TF2.
Right. He hides behind a tree and then makes a noise like a survivor, or that game has interesting systems and it's neat. So I'm playing that. So
yeah, I've always liked that.
There's
game.
also a pretty good community for it. So I've been the other reason I'm playing it is because I've been streaming stuff more. Because like I said, I ran out of jobs to apply to. So yeah. Pick a few things that are stream worthy.
Spoiler tag! We're gonna ruin this game.
We're gonna ruin this
What's this game?
Not that it wasn't already ruined.
We played Metro 2033 Redux, which is a remake of Metro 2033 that was re-released 4 years later. It was made by 4A Games, which used to be a Ukrainian developer, but then Russia happened, so they moved to Malta.
What do you mean Russia happened? When did Russia happen?
Recently. 2016.
2014.
2014. Yeah. So, when this game was coming out, Russia happened, and they moved.
Is that when Russia was founded?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, cool.
No. Russia invaded the Ukraine, and they were like, we are not doing this, and they left.
Oh, okay. Cool,
yeah.
cool.
So they are now a Maltese developer. All they have made is Metro games.
Okay.
So, they like games based on books.
I really respect them for making games only in the IP that they think is totally awesome that they made. As fun as it is to dunk on that IP, it's just they're living the dream.
Yeah,
right?
They're doing what they
want.
want.
That's the IP they came up with, or that they really love.
They developed,
and they're doing it.
I was into it until they were like, "Oh, there's Nazis," and I was like,
"Why are there Nazis in Moscow?"
Yeah, I was like, "What?" And then I was like, well, maybe they're neo-Nazis, right? People have those.
No, they're just Nazis.
Right.
They're actually kind of Wolfenstein Nazis.
Yeah, and they're just Wolfenstein Nazis, and I was like...
So, the reason they're in
there...
they're a thing in the books,
this is stupid.
Apparently.
Well, because, okay, so, but here's one of the things
the movie's not the book, and the book is not the movie.
No,
right?
I know.
Yeah, when you buy an IP, you examine it, you go, okay, what worked?
Yeah.
And then what was dumb as hell?
Yeah. So yeah, I read the plot synopsis for the book, and it turns out the book is way different. And they just kept a lot of the things that were in the book that were plot points.
Oh, so
but didn't even necessarily do the same plot.
Okay.
It's just a whole mess of stuff. It's a lot like The Witcher.
Fallout has super mutants, so
it's a lot like The Witcher.
Yeah. I hate this video game, and I hate you for making me play it.
Can we get a supercut of every time you said that?
It seems like I only say it to Keenan, too.
I specifically accidentally pick bad games. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, okay.
Are you saying this is the bomber crew of FPSs?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can totally agree with that.
Great premise. That's so great execution.
So, Keenan.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you were adventurous with your picks.
Uh-huh.
I will kill you.
So Metro 2033 Redux is a game that takes place in nuked out Moscow, where presumably the rest of the world is also nuked to shit. And there's all kinds of terrible mutants and bad stuff happening because everyone lives in the subway.
They don't have a Moscow subway to live in.
There's no talk of seasons, so presumably this is a nuclear winter.
Yes. Everything is great forever.
This is the way the dinosaurs went.
Yeah. So, like, basically people in Moscow have survived because they have tunnels to live in.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I bet DC's probably doing about the same.
Yeah, DC, some of New York.
Yeah, New York,
right, like Tokyo, like anywhere
London,
with a subway system, like
London's got a ton of train tunnels.
Okay, so I'm gonna say a couple things about the tunnels.
Yeah,
most of those tunnels have permanent pump systems that keep them from being underwater.
Yeah, no, like there's a lot of shit to make this game work.
I sure hope those systems are still working.
Yeah, me too.
So most of the game takes place in tunnels, but every once in a while you gotta strap a gas mask on and go upstairs and outside.
I'm gonna quote myself playing this game when I was in the amoeba part.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm tired of this fucking abandoned Pripyat architecture. Just end, you interminable game!
Yeah, it's concrete on concrete on concrete, man.
On rusted iron.
Yep.
Fixtures everywhere.
Yeah, so this game is like if Stalker tried to be more of a game and somehow failed at gameplay.
Okay, I will say I appreciate that the game tried to be more than an FPS. Right?
Yes.
That there were like things in it that were like attempts, allusions at other types of engagement with the game.
Yeah.
But they failed so fucking miserably every time.
So like here's the thing is like it's like the thing I always try to like integrate in myself is like when a game gestures at doing a thing and then falls very short on it. Like the easy interpretation is like they suck ass at it. Like fuck them. But like honestly, what it probably is like the developer is like on a whiteboard one day where like we want to do this. This would be a cool thing to do in our game, and then like due to like budget, time crunch, and whatever constraints, they're like, okay, well we need to pare back this whole like environmental interaction to like this size.
Yeah.
And so
it's
like
10% what we wanted it to be.
Again, I appreciate what they were trying to do with this game, and it shines through in certain parts. But the fucking bottom line is, I did not have fun at any single point during this gameplay.
There's like a ton of stuff where it's like it's super clear that like there should have been a production meeting that was like, do we actually want to keep this part in the game?
Yeah,
because it's not like there's like 20 half baked things in the game.
Okay, just jamming you from set piece to set piece that don't work.
Yeah, and so this is like, what if we had half as many things that were fully baked?
Right. There's like that part where you run through a bunch of tunnels. Well, every fucking part's the part where you run through a bunch of tunnels. You end up
after those tunnels.
You end up at a gate. And the guy at the gate's like, oh, we're not going to let you in. You have to defend the gate. And I'm like, oh, this is a defend the gate part, which has to exist in this game. But you're just, like, doing it in the most ham-fisted way possible, where, like, oh, you just finished doing it now. Mm-hmm. And I'm like... And then everyone else died, and I lived, and I left. And...
Yeah, that's kind of the game.
So, should we talk about it by chapter?
We probably should. But, okay, the first thing I want to say was the first thing I noticed, which was the game. The game was like, oh, man, dude, when you play my game, every bullet must count.
Yeah.
Every single bullet. You have to be so, like, thrifty with your bullets. And then the first fucking thing that happened was that, like, creatures that were in the middle of cutscenes had infinite health.
Yeah.
So I'm, like, spraying into an Osalis before I realized, oh, he's just doing, like, a QTE that I can't interrupt. And he actually doesn't have a health bar, and he's just going to leave.
It's actually, like, a weirdly upsetting thing that the game does that. It makes invincible creatures during certain cutscenes.
Yeah.
Also, there are critical cutscenes where the organism that is attacking an NPC is not invincible.
Yeah.
And if you kill it, the cutscene breaks.
Nope.
Yeah.
And the game can't progress.
Nope.
Progress. And like on one hand, like I respect like having things in the game that are theoretically important be vulnerable and destructible.
But also don't let me break your game.
Yeah.
If your game is as linear and fucking on a rail, literally at times as this game is, don't let me break it.
But that shouldn't be to the point where you just like It's not like an emergent gameplay. It's a fucking oversight.
Yeah.
So back to like bullets are important.
Yeah.
There's a point in one of the metro stations, which are like the downtime talk to humans parts of the game.
Yeah.
Where there's a shooting range. And I walk into it and I hit the button and it does things. I'm like, fuck all this. My bullets are valuable, and I leave.
Yeah.
Like,
it's weird, like not committing to its own premise.
yeah, like I don't know if it was gonna refund my bullets or not. I wasn't willing to take the chance, so I left.
Bullets are money. You should always conserve your ammo. Also,
fight all the damage sponges.
Yeah, fight all the damage sponges. Also, here's the infinite ammo bullet range.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much health did everything need to have in this game? Was it 8 billion? Was that the minimum amount of health that everything needed?
And the headshot model is so ridiculous. Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, so I just shot this guy 15 times in the body, and it felt like I did 0 damage.
And then I shot him in the head.
Because there was 0 effect on his movement through the level or anything. There's no feedback that I'm doing anything.
Yeah, there's no animation or visual cue.
Yeah.
So something...
And then a stray bullet hit him in the head, and that was it.
Yeah, so something I want to point out is that this game is like running on logic from 2010. And we're playing the 2014 or 2013 version of it where they came back and like ran a pass over it, but didn't really redo the game.
But also, when this game came out in 2010, it felt like a
So that's the other thing. It's like it's still really linear and it's still very locked into what it's doing. And like this game sort of wants to be Russian Half-Life in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like,
that's 100% what it wants to be.
That's the comparison I made. It's like someone played Half-Life 2 and was like, "That's dope as hell. I want to make that too."
Right.
And they make like not like a terrible imitation of it, but like they do what they see from Half-Life 2.
Well, and they do Half-Life 2 plus plus this book they love.
Yeah.
Right, like it's both.
Plus their favorite novel, plus Stalker.
Right, like
whew. Like there's that part in the library where like the dude's like, "Oh, look, Roadside Picnic. Looks like a cool book."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Roadside
and
Picnic.
And then you walk through a hole in the wall and you do a physics puzzle.
Yeah.
Which like is the only one in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, like, stared in this room for a while, and I look up and I'm like, oh, that thing's glowing. Oh, I'd probably shoot it.
You're talking about the fucking chandelier?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I hated the entire library, the puzzles in the library. I remember you came in.
I came in, and I got to that point, and I was like, what do I have to fucking do?
Yeah, and
like
the part right before that where you go through a hole in the wall, you're stuck in a 10x10 room, and the plant thing keeps coming out of the ceiling and hitting me every couple of seconds.
And there's no indication of what to do.
And so I just start shooting things, and a thing that has never broken before and gave no indication that it broke now breaks, and then the game progresses.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Yeah.
This game needs a Call of Duty fucking objective marker so bad. And I never thought I would ever fucking say that.
It doesn't need an objective marker, but it needs like it introduces a lot of like one-off systems that like don't necessarily need objective markers, but like need tutorialization.
Right, like I need a dialogue, or I need something that like tells me like, hey bro, do this.
In the case of the library, you can shoot apart doors.
Right.
That's something you cannot do in any other part of the game.
Yeah.
And bullets are a scarce resource. So, like, obviously you shouldn't just be shooting doors for the fun of it or for your own curiosity. Like, you should be conserving your bullets and not shooting doors.
Fun fact, there's a melee button in this game they never tell you about.
Are you for real?
Yeah, I'm fucking for real.
Yeah.
And it's a really ridiculous knife, by the way. Yeah. Holy shit. Like, I bought that thing in a dollar store. Like,
wow.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a melee button.
I did not know
that I learned about in the library.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm not spending ammo on these doors. Controls. Oh, it's V! Nice!
I learned about it when I was stealth killing guys. Because if you sneak up behind a guy who's hostile, it says V.
It's like kill, it says knockout.
And so later, when I wasn't in a hostile situation, I was like, I wonder what happens if I hit V and there's not a dude. And he was like, wow!
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
This rad fucking knife.
I never did that. I never ever did that.
Yeah, see? But like, that's the perfect example of like, this game doesn't tell you shit.
Or like, there's like this part where you're hanging out with Khan.
Yeah.
And
by the way, cool character.
If you say so.
Keenan, no.
He's a dumb shaman.
I think there's like I'm debating between 0 and 1 cool characters in this game, and it's not because I can think of a cool character I like. I'm just not confident in my 0. But I think it's 0.
The coolest character in this game is Bourbon's voice actor, because that dude sat in a booth for I'm assuming a week and went, "You will have a he just like squeezed his vocal cords for a solid week. That dude's a hero.
So.
My name is Bourbon.
So I'm doing this part with Con though, and I get to this.
I eat cigarettes. Sorry.
I get to this train car, and like I can't progress. There's just spider webs in front of me.
Oh yeah, fuck that part.
Yeah,
And, like,
fuck that part.
Fuck that part.
I had to go look that shit up.
Yeah, I did too. So I minimize my game and I Google it, and they're like, so I start typing in like Metro 2333 Redux, Con, and then when I typed in Con, it says like train car glitch, autocomplete, and it's like fucking great.
Yeah,
and I find like,
and then it's like, hey, take out your lighter and burn these spider webs.
Take out your lighter that you've never been explicitly like you've never been told exists.
I threw a firebomb at it.
Oh, cool. So if you press M, you get out your thing,
you get out your lighter,
I know.
and your lighter burns spider webs.
And it's like, cool, I never knew that existed.
Props on firebombing that ghost kid, though.
Game never told me.
What?
Props on firebombing the ghost kid.
Was there a ghost
There's
kid?
a ghost kid in the car.
Oh, okay.
Because that whole sequence is about, like, get out of the way of the ghosts, I can see them, so can you! And, like, if you ever touch the ghosts when they're wandering through the environment you're in, it, like, fucks you up real bad and you can die.
Oh, I just avoided them. And
yeah,
then...
you did it right.
Yeah.
But, like, I did it wrong once, and it was like, oh shit, that's really bad, my screen turned red, and, like, half my life is gone, what the fuck? Also, where's my life bar?
Yeah, where's my life bar?
Where's my life bar? Oh, things turned red. I better
actually
jam this thing in me, because I'm red.
I actually kind of love that it has very little UI, because when the game takes control and does those, like, first-person cutscenes, they're, like, way
It's
less...
seamless.
They're
like,
way less jarring than they would be in, like, any other game. Like, if I was playing, like, PUBG or Counter-Strike or Half-Life or fucking whatever.
Cow doobie.
Yeah, like, that's a testament. Like, this game does that really
it
well.
does that really well. And so, like, when it goes into one of those cutscenes, it feels... At least the visual aspect feels natural. Those cutscenes do not feel natural, but, like, that part...
The flow from gameplay to cinematic is unnoticeable.
Although it does create this experience where I'm not sure for a second or a half a second if I'm in control or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing? And I'm like wiggling my mouse, and the game's like,
and then your character's like, and you look stupid.
He's doing a thing.
Yeah.
So
Artyom's having a moment. Give it a second.
Are we past going chapter by chapter?
So in the beginning of the game, a dude shows up and he's your dad's friend, and your base is getting attacked, he's like, "Hey, go talk to this guy."
Why are there NPCs in this game? They're so disposable and forgettable, and they don't do anything.
Well, I love that.
Except, like, fucking just waste my time and make the level take longer.
I love that, like, the second bourbon is disposed of, another character literally
comes out of the ceiling. A literal nether bourbon.
And there's, like, a moment, like, when that happened where it's like, oh, the game be like this, huh?
So like, for the first half of the game, there's no MacGuffin, because it's all people dragging you around.
To be fair, if you stealth the portion right before that room, he will shoot people with his pneumatic gun for you.
He's actively doing that.
Yeah, he is actively
doing that. There were a couple people that just died, and I didn't understand.
I was wondering about that because when I got to that point, my guy was like, and I felt like someone was helping me. And I was like, really? Why did you feel that way?
If you're not looking, like, you won't notice it, but there's, like, guys who are dead and pinned to stuff.
No, you watch him do it a couple times.
Yeah.
I never caught it.
Okay.
I played, like, too much of a stupid jackass.
It's actually in there, but yes.
Yeah. No, like, I believe you, but also, the game's not reactive to...
it's not clear enough. Like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, that guy just died. That's weird. And then it made sense when that line
There's so many times where I'm in a room and I have no idea where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do.
The game doesn't do the Valve lights lead the way shit that I've been trained to do. Like...
So, like... like, this comes to, like, a thing I wanted to bring up is that, like, I've been told for a long time that, like, Russian games are, like, designed in a certain way. But, like, I have, like, an incredibly tiny experience with games that are developed in Russia or Russia-adjacent countries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my experience is Stalker, which this game seems to, like, fetishize.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if I can... Like, I don't feel comfortable just attributing, like, oh, these two games do it. That means it's Russian. It's like, what if just Metro just likes Stalker, and that's Stalker style, right? And then, like, I don't know, the other Russian game I played is, like, The Final Station, which is, like, very much not this game.
Mm-hmm.
But still trains.
It's still trains.
Still long.
Yeah, I mean, I guess culturally,
plotting.
I can say, like, Russia has trains.
Well, and there's like the literary sense of Russia, like, taking its time to get to things is all over those games.
But like, I feel like I'm actually, like, super uncomfortable with the idea of saying, like, Russian game design is this, and Russia game design is that. It's like, I played Stalker and I played Metro, and both those games have that. But, like, that's, like, a really small sample size.
Yeah. But, like, that ties into the literary themes I've seen in Russian literature, too. So it feels like a cultural thing that, like,
Yeah, I haven't read Russian literature, so like
I have
A few things.
to do that, except
Okay.
Chekhov.
okay.
And
Yeah.
Chekhov's the best.
Yeah, because he's all about
Because
that
he's
action.
like, oh, hey, what if I did the thing you did in 400 pages in 2? You're like, you're my man.
yeah. We're not talking about feasts and shit anymore. Cool.
We're gonna make a little poor person who's never seen an oyster imagine what an oyster is and be really frightened, and it's gonna be great. It's
Great.
gonna be like one of the best stories ever. Anyway,
So yeah.
So I wanted to just say like, I remember way back in high school, or whatever, sometime around that period,
Okay.
I was like, oh, Metro 23, that seems like a cool premise, like society under a railway. And then I played the game until they gave me the bastard gun, and I was like, this game sucks, and I stopped playing it. And that was my experience with this game so far. And then also, I wanted to mention that way back in high school, Adam tried to get me to play Stalker, and I started playing it, and I was like, this game sucks, and I stopped playing it. But like that, so like I don't really want to like analyze why I didn't, because that was whack when I didn't do that.
This is back when I was whack.
Yeah, back when I was like, this sucks, and I just moved on, right?
Yeah.
Like all my kids do at work. So, yeah.
So literally, the first half of this game is completely disposable.
Yeah.
Like,
Not a single gun in this game feels good to use. Which is like I'm not saying like hey, if your game's gonna be good, it needs to have good guns. But like also if you're a shooter, that's like a
Like,
super
you can shoot
damning.
the
for
only
good.
gun I felt good about the entire game was the revolver.
Yeah.
Like I would hit things with the revolver, and it felt like it mattered.
Okay.
I could even shoot a mutant monster with my revolver 4 times, and it would die. And I'm like, this thing fucking hurts people. Like, whereas
I can think of one
like,
gun I like.
I literally have an AK, which like,
yeah.
let's talk about how the AK is always super murderous in games, and I'm literally putting 30-round magazines in monsters who just punch me in the face for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
The only gun I liked is that pencil-mounted machine gun that shoots shotgun shells.
yeah! Oh, that thing was my shit when we got to that point in the game.
I will say,
The shotgun progression in this game is amazing.
I absolutely loved that you go to shops throughout the entire game, and in the last hub area, they're just like,
hey,
every gun.
have it.
Yeah.
Put everything on it. So the shotgun progression in this game is one of my favorite design decisions. You start out the game and someone hands you a jank-ass, pipe-made double-barrel rifle.
Yeah.
You walk into a shop and you can upgrade that jank-ass double-barrel rifle or shotgun into a 4-pipe shotgun. And it's still left-click left side, right-click right side, but it's double the shells. That thing's great. There's another shotgun that's like it's like an automatic shotgun, but it only has like 5 shells
Are you
in
talking
it.
about the revolver one?
The revolver
Yeah, that thing.
shotgun,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that thing's really fucking awesome too.
Then there's the bicycle shotgun.
And then there's the fucking
the bicycle shotgun is great.
yeah, and then there's the fucking shotgun machine gun at the end of the game that is totally fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, like there's that whole sequence where you're on the cart and you're defending the cart before you go into the super secret underground base, and I'm just like, yeah, get on the cart, see what fucking happens. Because I've got it's like, I don't need this flamethrower at all. Like,
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
get
the-
on the cart,
that's the thing
see
with
what
the
happens.
flamethrower. Like, I was terrified because they're like, obviously the game can't progress until I pick up the flamethrower that they told me. It takes
my
up one
gun
of my.
is right there.
It takes up one of my weapon
Yeah.
I
slots.
was terrified too.
It's like, am I gonna get my gun back? Because I spent.
Am
so
I
much...
gonna get my not
I
P90
spent
back?
money on my gun.
Yeah.
I polished my gun. I put little toys on
Yep.
it.
You mean your P90 AUG?
My AK 2012 that's definitely not a P90 at all.
No, my P90 AUG, because you see the shape of it.
Oh,
it's
it's
like
so
it's shaped like an AUG. But
Fuck
it's
that
fed,
gun!
It's fed like a P90 and looks like one on top. Yeah, it's so great.
It's so dumb.
But it was just like, I was like, there's a tension in that whole sequence that is entirely derived from,
Yeah.
am I going to get
Yo,
my gun
yo,
back?
am I getting my gun back?
Like you just keep flaming the Nosalysis and looking back at the ever increasing panoply of increasingly elderly Russian
Yeah.
tough men and going pointing at you and be like,
Do I get it yet?
can I pick?
I
that?
killed them. Do I get it?
Can I pick up my gun?
And yeah, like I had like I did that today,
Yeah.
right? And I had that moment where it's like, I can pick it up. Oh, thank God.
There was a part in the next level in like the sequence in the nuclear reactor where you go to an ammo crate and it gives you more flamethrower ammo, and I was like, nobody's gonna fucking keep the
nobody
flamethrower.
kept this thing.
Like,
And like, it wouldn't have been good anywhere after that.
no.
I don't want to carry that thing into the tower. Fuck all of that. He can keep your flamethrower.
Like, I need to be shooting at my opponents as soon as possible so that I can switch through my other weapons in time to have killed them by the time they reach me.
By the time they get to me, yes.
There ain't time to be flamethrowing these bullet sponges.
Which, once again, assault rifle, shotgun, oh look!
Yeah.
Here's my handgun and it's doing great because they're all softened up, right?
So, the library.
The library.
Let's talk about the second half of the library.
Let's talk about that.
Can we talk about the first half?
We can talk about the first half if you want to.
So there's the librarians, the gorillas.
Uh-huh.
There's gorillas that
They're
live in
just
the library.
literally
Can we talk about the fight outside the library? How it goes on forever?
Forever.
I hate it so much.
So many of those dogs.
That's all.
There's so many dogs. Man, I feel
if those dogs were half as easy to kill with body shots, this game would be fine. This game would be fine.
I feel like in a certain way the library is actually where I stopped playing this game in a certain way.
Yeah.
Because I got to the gorillas, and like the guy tells you like, oh, you need to behave this way, and the gorillas will behave in this way.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys. In my experience, the gorillas behaved in a way that was not in accordance with what he described. And it's where I stopped being angry and I broke, and I downloaded a trainer, and I cheated for the rest of the game.
Okay. Did you kill every gorilla?
Yes.
Holy shit.
I killed every gorilla too.
I did not.
I encountered the first one, and I was like, oh cool, I'll do the thing. That's like a really cool AI thing they came up with. And he just like... First of all, his animations glitched out in a way that made me feel very unsafe. I felt like it was communicated to me by the game that the rules were not being followed by the game. And I was like, this game ain't gonna follow the rules. I ain't gonna follow the fucking rules. And like the library is also where like it does that thing with the shooting the doors or meleeing the doors if you're like a fucking like 8-dimensional genius, not like me. And like I got really irritated when I discovered that. I was like, fuck this, infinite ammo from now on. I ain't playing in your rule sandbox.
Yeah.
Like, this is fucking bullshit. The game cheats.
Yep.
Like, I'm gonna cheat right
Those
back.
gorillas just have way too much health.
They have
is what I'm
so
gonna
much
say.
health.
They have so much health.
I was reading a walkthrough and they're like, if you want the achievement for killing the gorilla, kill the gorilla and then load the game because your ass is gonna need that ammo. Like,
So here's the thing though. Throwing knives do a lot of damage.
do they?
This game's so stupid.
So I have never used the throwing knife in combat. I have accidentally hit that button, thrown a knife, and picked it out of the wall. That is all I've ever done with them.
No, so I went online and I was like, man, these fucking gorillas. And I looked them up and it was like, okay, so here's what you do. You walk right up to the gorilla and you throw the throwing knife into its face. And while the gorilla is freaking out because you threw a knife into its face, you do it again. And then he's dead.
That's amazing.
So you go. So I ran up to the gorilla, and the gorilla would turn towards me and be like, "You motherfucker, get out of here!" And I'd be like, "Nuh." And he'd be like, "What did you just do?" And I'd be like, "I'm doing it again."
so stupid.
Can you pull him back out of his face? Oh my god, that's like so this is sort of the weird magic of this game for me. Is there's certain like internal logic things in this game that I actually kind of love. So you're talking about how the gorilla like gestures at you in ways that you're like, fucking, I'm threatened.
No, so
I literally stared down the first one, and he like straight up gets in your grill and threatens the shit out of you, but backs off. And so I'm like sitting there like, fuck, I'm gonna have to shoot this guy.
I want to be clear, the first gorilla I encountered, his elbow did like impossible clinch geometry.
Okay. Okay, fair.
So like that's why I felt like incredibly unsafe. And then he like killed
this
me.
This non-Euclidean motherfucker going down.
And he like killed me, and that's when I decided to break the rules.
Okay, fair. So.
The other thing that's fun to do is there's sticky grenades in this game.
Uh-huh.
And if you put 2 of them on their chest, they die. So the ones that are already aggroed that you can't just like go up to, you go, sticky! And then when you run out of stickies, you start throwing Molotovs at them because you got fire bombs.
So I did that.
So that's what I did. I just basically emptied my inventory of throwables and then emptied my inventory of shotgun shells. And that was how I beat the library. So
I did that sequence the way they said you should. Like I did my best to be cool.
You were cool.
And there are literal jump scares in that sequence.
Oh my god, like, I'm so sick of all the jump scares in this game.
Yeah, no, but there are little jump scares where like one grabs you through a wall and you have to not retaliate, and it's fucked up. Like, it creates a really cool atmosphere, but Nah.
But also, like, I'm fucking sick of all the levels where it's like there's these holes in the ground and on the wall where it's like that's where enemies get to spawn if they want.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no way to proceed through the level without like putting them at your back.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, I get to be jump scared. So like even when I was past the library, I'm invincible.
Yeah.
I'm playing with cheats and there's still like fucking jump scares coming in.
Yep.
Like they get you. You know what? A jump scare is still a jump scare. Is still a jump scare.
Right. It doesn't matter that it doesn't damage you. You're still fucking
And
scared.
it's just like, fuck this shit. Like, this is like the same trick the whole game.
Yep. Yeah, and jump scares are bullshit.
Like, it doesn't matter if they're jumping out of subway windows,
Yeah.
or out of, like, very clear holes in the wall, or out of, like...
Creators, jump scares are a crutch.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I mean, like...
So, like, the thing about that sequence for me was, it's cool. I see what they want to do here. But it's so fucking hard if you fuck it up. Like, you're talking about popping out the cheats to deal with the gorillas.
It's like playing Inside, where I almost a lot of times I felt like I didn't know how to complete a level until I'd failed at it 3 times, and it's not because I'm like I in any way used my own processing power to solve the problem. It's that I literally played out every possible scenario until I failed forward into succeeding.
And the sequence after that with the spiders?
Dude, those things are fucked up.
Those things are fucked up.
That's like some, like,
That's like the actual nightmare fuel in that game for me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck those things. But apparently...
I was just like, oh, and I sprayed him with bullets. And
this fucking shotgun.
No, I sprayed him with my P90X.
Fucking machine.
I mean, I just find them, like, visually upsetting. And, like, also that game, like, cranks up the amount of spider webs you have to walk through with giant spiders on it.
So apparently those only get agitated if you step on the goo. But the game doesn't tell you that. At all.
Did you figure that out?
No, I just shot him.
Yeah, so I did too, but like I went and I'm like there was a point where like I need a walkthrough. I need to know what the fuck is coming.
No,
right?
So in that sequence I literally just moved too fast for really anything to hurt me.
Yeah. That's what I ended up doing.
I got through that entire sequence and found my way to the door and those 4 guys and I was like, oh cool, spiders are over.
So I alt-tabbed.
It was really, like, it was kind of bad because all I had was normal bullets.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, man, if anything fucking hard to kill shows up, I'm boned. But I just...
So I alt-tabbed, like, after I was done with that sequence, and it was like, yeah, just don't step on the goo, it's easy. And I'm like, fuck. Like, game, tell me this, right? Like, again, just fucking
like,
tell me.
Even, like, visually suggested
like,
anyway.
Right, like, I don't have the rules, ever.
It's almost... To a certain degree, it's almost like the game doesn't have a visual language. Like even something as simple as like knowing which doors are interactable, and which doors are dressed.
They're not like cartoon outline the way they should be. They're not it's not painted into the background versus interactable.
Well, and also I don't think we even need like the American AAA neon sign style door,
right?
But like there needs to be anything.
Yeah,
to suggest
like you were saying a coherent visual language. My one thing I was going to say was with the scorpion dudes, like they never show up ever again.
Yeah,
right. Like you go in there, and I ran through it really fast, and I was like, oh, that's done. Maybe those guys will show up later. Nope. Right, and the amoebas, like I did a bunch of. Oh, he's dying like 1 hit.
The one thing I can say about that type of creature design, where like those scorpions never show up again. The amoebas, they only apparently live near a nuclear reactor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy. The one thing that does for me that I think is actually like really effective is it really paints a picture of like what the whole world looks like right now. Like the rest of the world must just be this nightmare diaspora of fleshy, hairless things,
fucked up monsters.
Like if there's the nuclear reactor in Russia made this. In America, it probably looks like this, and in Europe, it's probably some other fucking weird thing. Like in Asia, there's probably like 10-legged horses. Like who fucking knows?
But I was just saying for the coherency of the game. Right?
Oh, totally.
Like I had.
There's a lot of assets that only live in one place.
There were
which is incredible.
There were points during the sequence where I'm shooting Nazis where I had genuine fun.
Yeah,
because I'm shooting against humans, and I know the rules for that.
Yeah.
Right? I know how that works. I know fun tricks for that. I know, like, ooh, I'm going to peek you and shoot you in the dome.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I do little, like, cool aha moments and I feel smart. And then none of the creature parts were fun at all because it was just
right. There's no rule set. There's no logic
jump scares,
to them.
And I don't know what I'm doing.
And like, I feel like the developer's internal premise for that is like, of course you don't. They're mutants, right? You know, like, I'm waving my hands in front of my face.
But that's not how we fucking do things in video game town. So like I have a really hard time saying like, man, I fucking hated this game. Like I don't like the way this game plays, but there's all this setting stuff.
I fucking hated this game.
there's all this setting stuff, and there's things the creators are trying to do that I respect, and like I want a game that feels better in this situation.
Yeah. I think, a large part of the tension here of disliking the game is that I can see where they were going.
Right.
And I see them fall flat of that goal.
Yeah.
And that it's not even fun while it falls flat.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I feel like this would be like a great game if, first of all, they had more of a budget. Because there's clearly like ambitions they have that they can't realize. Mm-hmm. But also, I think this game would also succeed more if there was also... a dissenting...
More than 2 voice actors? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. There's that, but none of the characters matter, so the fact that there's only 2 voice actors...
Yeah.
But, like, if there's, like, a dissenting voice that says, like, here's a problem with this whole dynamic in this scene.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly a game that lacks an outside perspective in, like, how to design a dynamic or how to create a feeling. Because, like, they clearly have, like, an atmosphere and a feeling they're trying to create in a lot of scenes that I think they succeed or almost succeed at or barely succeed often. Mm-hmm. Like, there's definitely a feeling of terror throughout. Like, fucking all of this.
This game is dark and claustrophobic and fucked up.
And
it succeeds at that.
And it's a game that, like, the primary theme of, like, the whole game is a, lizard brain fear of the unknown.
And it's got that like Russian literature everything is bleak forever thing.
But the core premise of the game is that humans are being replaced.
Mm-hmm, sure.
The Homo
Which is like an existential thing.
Yeah, Homo Superior is coming.
Yeah.
And Homo Superior knows about us and can communicate with us, and we really can't communicate.
Sort of.
But we cannot communicate with them. Like you don't get to talk to Homo Nova.
Artune is the closest to being able to communicate, and he's the only one who can listen properly. That's as close as we get.
Yeah.
Right?
So the book, those sections made a lot more sense to me having read the book synopsis, because it turns out like he's fucking psychic, and that's the only way they can talk.
Well, no, duh. Like,
right,
like they, at the beginning they're like, Artune can handle the weird shit, and it's like, oh, cool, Artune's psychic.
Right.
Yeah, he's psychic or he's magic or whatever. Like, we can see radiation.
Doesn't matter what it is.
He can see the radiation ghosts.
Yeah.
He can see the anomalies.
Yeah.
He can hear what the dark ones are saying.
Right.
I like, that's actually, like, maybe my favorite part of the game is, like, the dark one.
Those sequences are cool.
Well,
they're weird.
Not just the sequences, but, like, the whole premise that, like, nuclear winter.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity will not survive this. Like in a macro scale, the things humanity needs to live don't exist anymore.
Right.
Humanity is subsisting on non-renewable resources, like machinery from the old world, bullets from the old world, things they can't replace, things they can't manufacture, and they can kind of do it like a little bit. They can make these like guns out of garbage, but like in the macro scale, we can't keep making guns.
Right. The world as you know it is broken.
We can't keep making ammunition. Apparently, pigs just sprout up out of the ground and we eat that. But like in a broad sense, like humans cannot live in
broken.
this.
Like,
and all these other species that now exist apparently are fine,
flourishing.
They're fine in this ecosystem. Apparently, it's an ecosystem of only predators, which is like really exciting. Like it's just demons and Noalises and dark ones
and gorillas that fight the demons.
Yeah, and gorillas and enormous cockroaches.
Gorillas obsessed with books.
Thing I want to say, I think are the Nosalises and the dog people on the surface different? Because I feel like they are. And then also there's the tiny little guys that jump scare you out of the holes. Yeah. Are they different than the dog people in the Nosalises?
I think they're little ones.
So here's my answer to all of those questions. I don't care. They're skinless things that attack me.
Also, there's the mini Cloverfield monster that spits air bubbles at you.
Yeah.
You run into those? What the fuck?
But it's like, the game...
They crawl along the wall and they spit air bubbles.
The game has all these different names for things.
Yeah.
But like...
They never stop and explain it.
But
give you any reason to care.
But they're all just hairless bipeds that attack me.
Yeah.
And like...
It's that thing I shoot.
They have a slightly different combat dynamic, but like they don't feel especially distinct from each other. Like, you could tell me that librarians are a subspecies of Noalises, and I'd be like, hell yeah, they are. Because they're both naked apes that attack me.
Yeah. So like, the thing I want is I want to go play Last Light, which is the second game, and I want to see them learn from some of these mistakes.
Cool.
Like, that would be the ideal.
Let me know how that goes.
Yeah, let me know how that goes.
No, I know. And the thing is, there's the third game coming out, like, at the end of this year. So, like, I want to believe that they're doing better, but I also am terrified that they're not.
I probably won't even watch the Let's Play, but, like, I'll just read the synopsis. Because, like, I like the premise of, like, so humanity, like, period, has been replaced. Like, no matter which ending you pick at the end of the game, like, even if you nuke the Dark Ones at the end, this is on such a micro scale. This is in the scope of a single city.
It's a Pyrrhic victory, like, by all means, like...
Well, I don't even mean that, but I just mean, like, this is the scope of one city on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Humans on Earth as a whole are fucking done.
Yeah.
Like...
If there's that many fucking murderous dogs and demons out there, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Period.
Well,
Like-
and not even dogs and demons, but, like, there's no agriculture.
Mhm.
There's no resource harvesting. There's no building. There's no, like, there's not recovering from this. It's only just, the bar graph just goes down.
You're holding on.
For
you're not,
humanity.
you're not sustaining.
Okay, just for a second. Think about, there's that many, like, fucking crazy-ass animals that'll eat you inside this busted-ass city, which is, like, not where animals should be.
Yeah.
So, how many are there, like, in the actual wilderness?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is going on?
Right?
Designing
many.
ecosystems is not this game's strong.
No, I'm just saying, like there's gotta, if this is the scale we're seeing, there's gotta be, like, so many of those dogs.
There's, like, fucking
in the
kaiju
forest.
out there or some
Yeah.
shit. Like...
Yeah,
Yeah, so, like...
Like the dogs are, like, the plankton of this universe.
There's,
God,
like...
that's a terrifying thought.
There's,
no,
like-
no. Here's the thing: the humans are the plankton.
Oh, okay.
of the
There's, like,
universe.
weird little things in this game that, like, aren't communicated well that I think are actually interesting, but because of that, this game's really fucking frustrating.
Hey,
So, I want to touch on one last thing before we move on.
okay.
Something we haven't talked about at all is that I got within 10 minutes of the ending of this game.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this.
And my game broke.
Yeah.
And I can't.
So please describe in verbal detail how the game broke.
So at the
Like,
beginning,
what-
at the beginning of the game, you get to see this scene where the truck crashes and you're surrounded by monsters and you're like shooting,
yeah.
and then it ends and it's like 8 days ago.
Flashback!
Yeah, and it's like, oh, cool. That's
We're
like,
gonna explain
that's
ourselves!
interesting. So I got to that. So I played through the game and got to that point where we flashed back.
And the
from.
character literally says, now we go back to the beginning of the story. Like, it's this... like, fuck, okay.
and so like I'm at this scene. The truck crashes. We make a circle.
Yeah.
You know, and like we shoot.
All the same stuff happens.
We shoot the dogs. And my boy, I actually don't know what his name is. Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The oldest and toughest Russian man you have
With
met
the
thus
with
far.
the beard, right? He's the one with the beard.
Okay, so I want to
Well,
point
he's the
out.
one with the combat armor and the gun.
He's Captain Price, yeah.
So the NPCs who ferry you around progressively get older, tougher,
And more beard.
more gunnier, and more bearded,
and more armor.
and more armorer.
I actually don't know what Miller looks like. He just wears armor.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, all those dudes who are like following you around at the end of the game, you know what it says on their armor?
Sparta.
Sparta.
I know, because they're Spartans.
Let me just stroke my fucking dick and
Spapta, or
and,
whatever the fuck it says.
I assume we all played on the easiest modes.
I'm going to jizz into the breech of an AK-47.
Yes.
Because Sparta was a good thing
Yeah.
and not a horrible state that was run by slaves.
Anyway,
Anyway.
anyway, like I'm doing like that sequence, and at one point he gets knocked down like script wise by a monster, and I'm like, and he never got up. And I was like, oh damn, that's like hardcore. They just killed my boy, and I'm gonna go off on my own. And like, I was like, wow, that's a cool shift in direction. In
That's
the
a
story.
choice. Yeah.
And I go off on the map, and then like he's like talking to me still. Like I can hear his voice, and it's not like he's radioing his voice. Like I can hear his voice. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm getting insight into how this level's designed, apparently. And then, like, I get to the tower. You can't progress in the tower because
Dude does things.
Dude has to come and
yeah.
hand
he
open the
does
elevator.
Things, yeah.
But the reason I wanted to bring this up, that I didn't want to move on, is I got to that point in the tower, and I couldn't fucking figure out if it's that I'm missing my NPC who
Right,
opens
because
the
of the
gates,
rest of the game.
or if it's that, like, I clearly haven't banged my head in the right way against the level to make the door
Am I
open.
not shooting the plank right?
Am I not shooting the plank? Am I not picking at the chain? Am I
Yeah.
not whipping out my lighter? Am I not throwing a grenade? Am I not pulling out a knife?
So
Am I not throwing knives in those
Are you
gorillas?
guys aware that there are two endings to this?
Yes. I watched the last 13 minutes of the game on YouTube because I couldn't fucking finish it.
Okay. Did you get the good ending or the bad ending?
Well, I watched on YouTube, so I watched both of them.
Okay.
I got the bad
Good.
ending.
Okay. Well, so did you read the requirements for getting the good ending?
It's ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
You, like, straight up can't kill people.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
there are so many people in this game to kill.
oh, that's interesting because I thought it just came down to whether or not you
Nope.
let the target painter.
No,
resolve.
there's like a whole... There's a whole system under the hood.
You don't have the option.
Oh,
so-
you don't have control there.
No.
Actually, can we stop? Can we back up for a second?
Yeah.
From the ending, about like when you lose control in scenes.
Yeah.
Like so, there's the part in the library where it's like, you open. There's a door, and as soon as you press the button, you lose control.
Right.
And I was like, oh, cool, that means we found the thing. But then there's this drawn-out first-person scene of you rummaging through through drawers, looking for the or the location of D6.
Yep.
And it's like, I already know we found it.
Right.
We reached the cutscene part of the library,
and
I know we found it. And there has to be this drawn-out. So it's like
him making tons of noise. By the way, when I snuck through the whole level.
But the rummaging scene is totally ruined because I already know we've reached the ending of this.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, where's the code? Where's the address?
Yeah, it's just like very, very. It becomes very poignant that video games are not films.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. And this is actually like a really big bummer for me because one of the things I hate the most in video games is when they're like, oh, your choices. But then at the end of the game, you just get to pick binarily what the ending is. Because I think that's a real, like, and I understand, like, the design cost in this, but, like, it's a cop-out that, like, your choices didn't matter. It's only the last choice.
So that's the interesting thing.
So
the system in this game is actually built that way.
No,
but it never tells you.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like a Fallout Tactics. It's a squad tactical game.
Yeah.
And it has multiple endings, but it like stealths them on you based on your decisions across the entire game, and you don't get to just pick at the end.
Right.
And I really like that. And in this game, watching the YouTube video, I just assumed it came to whether or not you knock over the target painter, because that's how it fucking looks.
Well, and the fucked up part is before that, when you're in the fucking psychic tunnel and the dude's coming at you, like, you have to shoot him or you die.
Yeah.
So, like, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, so just to give you just an idea, you know the very first part in the game where Hunter says, grab a gun?
Mm-hmm.
If you pick up that gun, you have immediately locked yourself into the bad ending.
Really?
Yes. Just to give you an idea of how, like, fucking draconian this shit is.
Deep. That's like, if you kill people in any of the sneaking missions, there's a whole moral point structure.
Okay, so, like, I didn't see the ending of the game in my playthrough. I got the bad ending.
Yeah. No, like, there's a whole moral point structure that someone's, like, fucking sussed out and wrote in the walkthrough I was reading. Where they're like, hey, go over here and get a moral point for talking to this guy. Go over here and get a moral point for talking to that guy. Like, there's a whole...
It's actually bullshit.
Like, there's a whole system under the hood that might be interesting if they'd ever explained it. But...
I just kind of want to boot this up to unpack it, because I have a lot of feelings about moral systems in games that I'm not sure I'm ready to, like, put into words.
Yeah. That's fine, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
There's plenty of material there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's... Just like everything else I've mentioned, that when I learned how it worked, I found it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, but they never tell you.
But it's immediately uninteresting, because it would be one thing if at the beginning of the game, like, Hunter was like, oh, you know, if you, like, if it was like a dichotomy, like, Hunter's like, oh, we need to fucking kill everything that's not human.
Yeah.
Right? And your stepfather was like, maybe there's another approach.
Right. Like, there could be an in-story way to do it, but they don't even bother.
It's like, I saw a thing on Twitter the other day where it's like, this person was like, I'm really tired of games where you get to the end and someone says, wow, you just fucking killed everything you saw, huh?
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, because it's the only fucking verb in this game.
Right. Yeah. Like, that's the only thing you ever taught me.
That shit bugs me.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you never thought
and
there
the
was
system,
another option. Because there wasn't another fucking option.
Yeah, the system is that.
Like it's some, like, fucking gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, because the game doesn't progress if I don't fucking shoot people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Or my favorite is also the video game where you spent the entire game up to this point killing literally every person you saw, and then the game suddenly expects you to, like, grapple with the value of human life.
Yeah.
Like the intro to Fallout 3, where it's like, oh, killing Amada's dad, that's like a bad thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what about the police officer I literally did not have a choice but to kill?
Yeah.
Right?
Like literally everyone in the vault tried to kill me.
Yeah, and I had to kill them or they would kill me.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're like, no, this guy, though, that's bad.
Yeah, fuck
like,
that.
Fuck you. Anyway, moving on. The music in this game. Do we want to talk about that at all?
The music is stupid. No, it's like, it's super jarring. Like you
it's like weird Western guitar cowboy shit.
Yeah,
like,
it totally broke me out of the game. Like, fucking every time they do a big music cue, and it's like, what? Like,
so okay, I wanted to talk about that. So a large part of, like, Russian macho culture post Stalin is like cowboy movies.
Sure.
And like the Russians had their own cowboy movies because, okay, so I've been listening to this podcast called Behind the Bastards, and they were just talking about how Stalin used to basically run the government of Soviet Russia from a table at 4 a.m. with all of his friends, forcing, or not his friends, but all of his like cabinet members, forcing them to drink heavily and watch cowboy movies with him. So this is like a thing.
Sure.
Right? So, but it's still like, it's really...
But it's like jarring and not set up at all.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know if
There's like a couple guitars in the beginning of the game, and that's it.
Yeah, like
Miller talks about cowboys a few times.
But like I don't know if this is like quite the right word for it, but it's like it feels a little like unearned.
Yeah.
Like when it switches to it, it's like it's one thing to have this thing that's like at odds with the setting. Like that's like a thing you can do, but it's never.
Well, and like there's sort of this weird undercurrent of it. Like you handed me a revolver, you did that. Like there's this weird undercurrent of cowboy shit that's never paid off or
it's
explained.
not followed up on enough.
Right.
It's not set up, paid off, or explained.
Right. Like you're gonna go talk to the Rangers, and now you're a Ranger. That's weird. Like
I guess I'm expected to figure out that Russians like cowboy shit.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's in one of the manuals or something. In like various wiki stuff, Artyom is alternatively referred to as Artyom or the Ranger trainee.
right.
I
like
never saw that
in
once.
the thing about the first half of the game is they have to give you these reasons to go to these places. In the book, it's literally like I go there, I talk to them, I decide to join them because I have no better way to get what I need done. Like
Sure.
like there's a natural progression in the book that the game just forgoes for gameplay.
Can I bring up a thing? Because I'm worried we'll pass by it without
Sure.
comment. Not the level design in terms of gameplay. The levels in this game from a visual design are like actually kind of spectacular.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Like I think
And like we said before, there's so many assets that are only used once.
yeah.
That you're like, what the like?
there's a
No one does this. What are you doing? Where's your money?
like there's that part where you're in like D6 and there's that spiral rail car you go down to the reactor, and it's like very evocative.
And that place feels so big, and you only see a piece of it.
Yeah,
like
it's very evocative of like Soviet Russian industrial design.
Well, yeah, no, it's like
they
a-
talk about
it's like a
so
fucking-
they don't make them to last like this no more.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
this like evil James Bond villain base that you're in, and like
But also it's like some real ass shit. you
Yeah.
know? Like I don't know if that spiral rail car is a real thing, but like I kind of believe it.
it's so clearly defined
Mm-hmm.
that it feels real.
Or like being in the frosted over library. Like for as much as we griped about the library, like it's like
No,
Well,
it was the gameplay.
The
of
immersion in
library.
this
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
the immersion in this game is insane. I have to screw new filters into my mask. I have to wipe shit off.
Okay, I want to say
I hate the
actually
filters.
the filters are annoying.
Yeah.
You're right. But one thing I do like is that it's very comforting in a lot of the jump scare parts of the game. I was doing the where you hit G with your gas mask already on, and your guy wipes his face
Yeah.
real quick. It's actually like super like cathartic and comforting, and makes me feel better to do that.
Yep.
In some of the scarier parts of the
Yep.
game,
Sure.
even if there's
Like
not
it
goo
breaks
on my
it for
face.
you. Like
Yeah, it's like my guy just wipes his face, and I'm just like, I feel better every time he does it. So I was just like, that really worked. That
Yeah.
one thing.
I like it as
Yeah.
a mechanic. I don't think
I think
the game let it happen.
the
right?
filters super suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like it's the whole thing we talked about with the visual language of learning how to go to a place. There's that one level after you fight the Nazis, you go up on the surface, and it's that big icy crumbling building with demons
Yeah, fuck that
swarming in the
building.
air, and it's like I legit spent an hour there trying to figure out how to get out of there because
Mhm.
the game
It's
not.
really bad.
Yeah, it's very bad, but like you're on the surface. Your filters, buddy.
Yeah.
If you don't move quickly, you die.
Explore the surface for an hour, bro.
Yeah.
It's like fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like there's so many choices that this game is making because it wants to make a certain kind of game, and then the gameplay itself breaks those.
There's so many. Okay, there's so many. I've been trying to construct this in my mind for a little bit now, but it's like it goes for me. It all sort of. It's like the dialogue, and especially the jokes in the dialogue, are a huge like microcosm of everything that's wrong with the game. Like the jokes are there, and they're clearly jokes, but I don't get them, and
I
they're
don't
not
care.
funny,
Yeah.
and I don't care. And
it
that's
literally
like,
serves to make that guy annoying.
and it spirals out to everything
Mhm.
else, to every other system and set piece. And,
This game
yeah.
has reach; it does not have grasp.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Wow.
Because you can see very plainly like what
what they're trying to do.
Like what their ambitions are, what they're trying, what they think is cool to have in a game. What like you can even like kind of extrapolate like what games they've probably played and
they write all these checks their budget can't cash, right?
Yeah.
Like it's why I want
their budget or their own design.
Right, and it's why I want those other games to be better. Yeah. Like honestly, because the ideas behind what they're doing are fascinating.
Yeah, like even the very broad story premise of like humans are the Neanderthals of this age.
Yeah,
like they are the doomed hominid,
and you're playing that and feeling that.
Yeah, it's actually what I really wanted Far Cry Primal to be. Like what if the twist ending reveal in Far Cry Primal is that
like
you are the Neanderthals and the humans are just like wiping you out.
You just happen to be better at not getting wiped out.
Or even the reverse. Like what if you are the Homo sapiens
and you're wiping on
Neanderthals?
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got?
So I mean it's funny that you mentioned Neanderthals because there's a lot of evidence that's like points towards us fucking them to death.
Dude, I feel like every 2 years the consensus thinking of Neanderthals reverses.
Yeah,
and because I have no personal expertise in this, it's like I guess I'll take you at your word. We bred with them until they wiped out, or we killed them all, or it's the opposite. Like
every 2 years they have feathers again.
Yeah, exactly. like, and it's not that like it's not like I'm saying like just trust science, but it's just like. The thing on it shifts just often enough that like I never feel comfortable putting down my chips.
Yeah,
I like the fucked explanation better because it's what we do. We have sex
and
stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
But also we kill things a lot too.
We do that. I think it's probably both. Yeah. Honestly, like it's
column A, column B.
Yeah. Well,
evolutionary centrism.
And killed them to death.
Yeah. Evolutionary centrism, man. Yeah. We fucked them to death. Also, we killed them to death.
So,
they're so dumb. They're easy to kill.
Not real game awards.
Not real game awards.
Not real game awards, if you please. S'il vous plaît. Damn it.
Sous vide, please.
Sous vide, please. Sous vide plate.
Todd Howard.
Todd Howard. There's faults? No, wait, that's not him. Fuck.
I'd give it like a 1 or a 2.
I can go with a 2 because
game
it's reaching beyond its ability.
Okay,
actually, I back off what I just said. I'm going to give it a 1.
Okay.
I think 2, or possibly 3 because of the Fallout has super mutants, so just put the super mutants in there, right? Like it's clearly cribbing from all these things, but just like in this really.
So that's where I'm feeling my 1, and the reason I backed off is like this game has it has ideals, it has objectives, and it like
yep, no, I'm with you on 1. Like Todd Howard don't have those things.
Even though it fails on like
this game built the game before it built the map.
Yep.
Like here's the thing: is like it fails on all these things, but it fucking swings for the fences.
Okay. Yeah. No. I'm 1. I'm with you.
I don't like this game. I'm cheering for this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to believe they can execute on these systems.
Yeah.
I want to believe that they can come around and explain them to us and make an enjoyable game.
Yeah. Because it's there. It's under there.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it 1. I was going to give it 2.
I feel really good about 1. I feel really good about 1.
Let's do that.
I feel really good about it. All right.
Hey, put that on your box quote on the back of your game. Yeah. 1 out of 5 Todd Howards.
Yeah.
Fucking bad playstyle.
Yeah. Put the fucking in there, please.
Yeah. Fucking bad playstyle.
Brandon Chung.
I'm gonna give it 1. It's got some first person stuff, and I know he's got like a real fetish for that shit.
And it's in its own world.
It's in its own world, but it's
no, like like 1. But like I'm backing up your 1 with it's in its own space.
Dean Freeman, 0.
God,
there are no humans.
There's
in
no
this game.
There's no room for emotion.
Have you looked at Khan's eyeballs? There are no humans.
We never even talked about that kid that rides on your back.
Fuck that! Fuck all of that!
Oh, I blocked that out.
Yeah,
I saw that kid and I was like, no, I want to fucking kill this kid. He's creeping me out. And then that whole sequence is just dumb.
So like.
You turn slower in that sequence.
Oh, I hate it. I was like, why am I swimming?
Owen, go ahead.
Can I be like just a little bit devil's advocate? There's a version of that level where you're escorting him. I'm glad he's on my back for sure.
Yeah,
think about it from a design perspective. There's a version of that.
There's a version of that level where I have to fucking protect that kid. Yeah, no.
And so it's like, oh, cool. It's that version of that level, except I get to carry him because that's what you would do with a child.
Yes, that is what you actually do.
His voice acting is terrible. Like everything else.
Oh.
Anyway,
my name is Bourbon. I am small child. I
felt the way Hellboy feels about carrying that dead guy around on his back that calls him Red Monkey about that kid.
Yeah.
Like that's
Monkey Poist. Simon Viklund.
Simon Viklund.
3.
Yeah.
It wants a 3. Maybe a 2?
No, I agree with that. I'm going to give it
It wants a 3, but it earned a 2.
Okay. Jay Sawyer.
The Simon Viklund we deserve, not the Simon Viklund we need.
Jay Sawyer.
Jay Sawyer, like a 1. It's got like a deep world building, but I think it doesn't commit to it in a realistic way.
Artyom and the Dark Ones are the only characters.
And none of the choices I made mattered, so... Yeah, 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Bezos.
Like 0.
0.
I don't know. I think it's
no. Jeff Bezos can exist under the Soviet
I
Union.
think it's a 5 because it's the results of Jeff Bezos.
It's not, though.
It's not.
It's not.
That's fine. You outvoted me.
Alright. It's Tarn Adams.
0.
Yeah.
Nothing like maybe 1 because like you so you know the first time you run into a demon in the game?
Yeah.
And like it's like this semi-scripted thing. Like you have to run from it, and your dude's like, "Oh, dude, what's up with the demon? I call them bitches." And like,
my name is.
So when I hit that wall where my game broke, I booted up the first chapter and played that part again with cheats on. You can just shoot that demon out of the sky.
Oh yeah,
you can kill them all.
No. So that breaks the game.
Yep.
Because there's a part where he's supposed to get tackled by it.
Yep.
And if that doesn't happen, you can't.
You can't continue because those triggers never happen.
Yeah, and it's just like. So like that's like a 1 Tarn Adams because like I really respect that they let me kill this like mission critical fucking.
And it didn't
NPC.
even give you the Bethesda Morrowind like, yo, are you sure? Like
I'm on 0. What are you on, Keenan?
0.
I mean, I'm fine with.
I appreciate your argument.
No, I mean like it was well thought out, but I'm on
You gave
0.
hit points to a thing in the game you definitely shouldn't have.
Jake Solomon.
0.
Yeah.
I was very angry this entire time, and
that's not what
that's not what I mean.
That's not what the Tear Dream Reward's
man.
I
know, but I was extremely angry at this game for most of the time I was playing it. So
he was literally swearing at me from the other room, like,
no,
"Why'd you fucking make me play this?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I hate it too."
I mentally reached this point where it's just like, I am going to deliberately not talk to Keenan and Matt about this game until we record.
I mean, I reached that same consensus too. Like I was specifically not reaching out on social media and like on Discord to you guys, but Keenan walks through while I'm having an especially difficult time, and so my rage found a person.
I literally walk in and feel it coming off of him, and he's fuck!
Yeah, so like the rage is sort of hanging out around me because it has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And then Keenan walks into the room and doesn't even say anything. I just know he's there, and instantly the rage goes, "Hey, there's a person. Take it out on them.
That guy.
It's definitely his fault that you're doing this." Right? So,
which your rage wasn't wrong, but
so that happened.
No, it's cool. I understood.
Right. So 0. The cardboard computers.
No,
0 cardboard computers.
Okay. We in the denouement. Keenan, you want to talk about wrestling real quick?
Wrestling. Okay, so you remember how I talked about how wonderful it was that we were using the Money in the Bank case as like a match stipulation?
I will say that the Money in the Bank case is literally the
single
only
greatest
thing I
narrative
like.
device in wrestling.
It's okay. So that's not what I was going to say because wrestling is boring. So Money in the Bank is the only good thing in wrestling.
Fair enough. So Braun Strowman has been Monster in the Bank. He totally trucked the shit out of Kevin Owens in that match I talked about previously.
Kevin Owens is the Shania Twain guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So, totally trucked the shit out of Kevin Owens in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Really fucking brutal. Kind of murders that guy's career for a minute. So, Sunday is Hell in a Cell, wherein men get inside a giant chain link cage and hurt each other.
Oh. You said Hell in a Cell?
Hell in a Cell.
I thought that was a female wrestler.
Hell in a Cell, yeah.
Hell in a
Cell. No.
That'd be good.
That's a good wrestler.
Yeah, that's a dope name, though. So no, the match type is Hell in a Cell. It's not a cage because cages don't have roofs and the whole point is to get out of the cage. In Hell in a Cell, you're stuck in the cage because it has a ceiling. Okay. So Roman Reigns is champion because that's just assumed, I guess. We're not going into that.
Okay.
The match Roman Reigns has for his championship on Sunday is Braun Strowman challenging with his Money in the Bank case in a regular match stipulation instead of it being spur of the moment the way that thing is supposed to fucking work.
Okay.
That's the dumb wrestling thing for the week.
So they ruined Money in the Bank, is what he's saying.
That's sad.
They ruined
really
the only good thing about wrestling.
I'm sorry that the stupid thing for wrestling this week isn't funny or cool. but they've done this to us.
The throwing knives moment honestly like carried me through this whole episode,
dude.
Watching Owen squirm over here, just with the existential like I went through all that pain for no
also the
reason.
melee button for Owen.
This is like a microcosm of the ammo crafting from.
It's exactly the same.
Like it's not on the same level because that ammo crafting is such a bigger game changer because that's across the whole game.
Yeah, this is just like one specific really annoying part.
Does Owen miss important mechanics in Russian games? Is that what we're learning?
No, because I'm the Iron Dumbass, not Owen.
Okay. Anyway,
that's my wrestling
what's after
name.
dumb wrestling things?
So Owen, where can they find us?
If you want to email us dick pics or game codes or feedback or like screeds, you can contact us at badplaystyle@gmail.com.
I like screeds.
We could read a manifesto if you're not going to kill anyone.
Yeah, like depending on the content of your manifesto, we might elevate it or bury it.
Yeah. Roll the dice.
if you want to, I don't know, scream into the void, you can contact us at badplaystyle on Twitter.
Yeah. Make sure that's available for public
Did
consumption.
we say our email yet?
Badplaystyle@gmail.com.
Yeah, I said that.
We'll
Okay.
say it again.
Wait,
Screeds,
I'm
manifestos.
sorry. Did we say the
game
Twitter
codes.
yet?
Yeah, we just did that.
I just said that too. Those are
Is
the
that Bad
last two
Playstyle?
things I said.
Say it again.
At badplaystyle.
At badplaystyle for Twitter and badplaystyle@gmail.com.
Cool. So, the chicken hat is our internal checks and balances measure that Keenan keeps losing. And nobody got any points this week because we all finished the game almost.
Against all odds.
We all finished the game and accept that Owen's game breaking bug is bullshit.
Yeah.
But what are we playing next week, Owen?
So, in celebration of Fallout 1's 20th anniversary or 20th birthday.
Shout out to Brian Fargo.
Yeah, shout out to our boys Brian Fargo,
I smell a new game award.
Tim Kaine, all those dorks. Fallout's birthday is next month, so we're gonna play Fallout 1.
Hell yeah.
Oh, do we need to add a bourbon award to the Not Real Game Awards?
No, fuck bourbon.
Okay.
Fallout, a post-apocalyptic role-playing game.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Or a post-nuclear
We're
role-playing
rolling
game.
hex grids, son.
Yeah.
Hex grids. I'm looking forward to it. I like Fallout 2
you
more
like-
than Fallout 1, but it's fun.
You like GURPS? You like hexes? We're getting into it.
It's
That's
gonna
way
get
good.
special.
That's way good. So that's the part of the podcast that matters. Now for the best part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Sam Fisher versus.
Sam Fisher versus
Um,
Artyom.
no, so it's Artyom versus Sam Fisher, but you get to sort of set it up because it's your game. So.
Okay.
I have a thing I want to say about this after Keenan goes.
I don't
Like,
think
what's the situation?
I don't think it matters.
It
honestly. I don't. Subway tunnels, in the tower, in the library.
So you're saying it's definitely in Artyom's world?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Artyom's getting got.
Because if Artyom is put into Sam Fisher's world, it's also definitely
he's also
Sam
super
Fisher
getting
world.
got. Right. We're giving Artyom the hand up, putting him in his own realm.
So the thing I want to say is do you think there's anyone we are confronted with in Metro that can take down Sam Fisher?
A demon.
A demon?
A demon.
I don't know. I think it can.
I think Sam's smart enough to stay out of their way.
Yeah, the demons are hella
I
dumb.
think he stabs it up real good if
Yeah.
it gets a hold of him.
I'm putting it out there. I think Miller sucks. I think Sam kills that demon.
Okay. Fair.
Seriously, those throwing knives do 5,000 damage. I'm not kidding.
I'm gonna have to go try it out. Seriously. I may play that whole game throwing knives.
I'm gonna have to try it out, by which I mean I'm never touching this game again.
Yeah. No, I don't see any world where Artyom doesn't just get wrecked by way of being malnourished, by way of not having good gear.
All right. Well,
I think Samuel Fishstick wins.
Sam has both tech and skills
I'm gonna
advantage.
clap the chalk on my hands and wipe it off and say, "What was that stupid wrestling thing you said? You beat my meat, eat the streak."
Eat, sleep, beat the streak.
All right.
It's now up to Fallout to beat Sam Fisher's 2-win streak.
Wow.
I'm gonna say,
This is the first time I've ever thought about it beforehand.
I don't think he
I
does,
hate you for doing that.
Fallout versus.
I don't think he does well against the Masters Army.
All right, I'm gonna say Owen does get to set it up,
Yeah.
so that's that.
Yeah.
So December 14th, you're done with what is it?
Not a shame man.
Well, no, that's expired.
Not quite
as
a
of
shame
earlier
boy.
this
Yeah,
week.
no, that's expired.
Oh, I'm XXSJW Snowflake, parentheses, argumentative, XX.
And on September the 25th, you are done with...
Being chapstick.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you.
This was incredibly long.
Long.
If you listen to the whole thing, we'll give you a game code.
Kind of constructive. We love you.
We'll give you a game code.
We
Bye.
will.
Our theme music is made by my good friend Benjamin Busey. You can find his SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/basicbenji206.